In 2002, a two-year-old startup with barely any revenue offered itself for sale. The asking price was $1 million. The buyer said no. A few years later, that same startup came back. This time, the price was $3 billion. The buyer said no again. That startup was Google. The company that turned it down twice was one of the biggest names on the internet. A company so dominant in the early 2000s that its name basically meant the internet to millions of people. That company was Yahoo. And this is the story of how the original king of the internet said no to Google, said no to Facebook, and eventually said no to its own future until there was nothing left to say no to. Yahoo started in 1994 as a simple directory, a hand-curated list of websites built by two Stanford students who wanted an easier way to keep track of their favorite pages on the still tiny early internet. It grew into something much bigger than a list. By the late 1990s, Yahoo wasn't just a search tool. It was the front door to the internet itself for millions of people. Yahoo Mail, Yahoo Messenger, Yahoo News, Yahoo Finance. It built an entire ecosystem designed to keep you inside Yahoo's world for as long as possible. At its peak during the dot-com boom, Yahoo's market value soared past $100 billion. It was one of the most recognizable brands on Earth, a symbol of the entire internet era. And then, quietly, a much smaller company started chipping away at Yahoo's most important feature, search. In its early years, Yahoo didn't even build its own search engine. It actually used Google's search technology behind the scenes to power results on its own site. Google, at the time, was the small partner. Yahoo was the giant. In 2002, Google's founders reportedly offered to sell the company to Yahoo for around $1 million. Yahoo passed. A year later, with Google's value climbing fast, the number came up again, this time around $3 billion. Yahoo passed again, reportedly deciding the price was too high for a search company, when Yahoo itself was thriving as a portal. Then, in 2004, Yahoo made a different decision that would prove even more costly. Rather than continuing to rely on Google's search technology, Yahoo built and launched its own search engine, cutting ties with Google completely. That decision freed Google to grow entirely on its own, without Yahoo's traffic or partnership propping it up. Within just a few years, Google's search engine had become dramatically better than Yahoo's, and the word Google was on its way to becoming a verb. Yahoo had helped build its own biggest competitor, then handed it full independence at exactly the moment it was ready to take off. If missing Google wasn't costly enough, Yahoo had one more shot at buying its way into the future and turned it down too. In 2006, Yahoo negotiated to acquire a fast-growing social network that was still mostly limited to college students. The offer was reportedly around $1 billion. The deal was close enough that reports suggest the young founder had even verbally agreed to sell. Then Yahoo's own stock price dropped sharply due to a disappointing earnings report, and Yahoo's leadership got cold feet, lowering their offer. The deal fell apart. That company was Facebook. Just 2 years later, Facebook turned down a much larger acquisition offer from Microsoft, confident it could grow independently, and it did, eventually becoming worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Yahoo had been a phone call away from owning what would become one of the most valuable companies in the world, and let it slip away over a moment of financial hesitation. After missing both Google and Facebook, Yahoo entered a long, slow decline defined by one thing: constant leadership turnover. Between 2007 and 2017, Yahoo cycled through 6 different CEOs, each arriving with a new turnaround strategy, and each leaving before that strategy had time to actually work. Every new leader meant a new reorganization, a new set of layoffs, a new strategic pivot, chasing search, then media content, then mobile, then video, without ever fully committing to one clear direction, long enough to compete with faster, more focused rivals. Meanwhile, Google had become the default way people searched the internet. Facebook had become the default way people socialized online. Yahoo, once the front door to the internet itself, had become something people used mostly out of habit, if at all. In 2016, Yahoo's core internet business, the search engine, the mail service, the news portal, was sold to Verizon for about $4.8 billion. It was a steep fall from a company, once valued at over $100 billion at its peak, and a quiet ending for what had once been the biggest name on the internet. Yahoo's story doesn't have one single dramatic villain moment, like a fraud or a boardroom lie. What makes it such a useful, cautionary tale is exactly the opposite. It's a story about several small, individually reasonable-sounding decisions that added up to something catastrophic. Turning down Google once might have been a reasonable bet. Turning it down twice, then cutting ties and letting it grow independent, compounded the mistake. Getting cold feet on Facebook over a temporary stock dip cost Yahoo a stake in one of the most valuable companies ever built. None of these individual choices look insane in isolation, but together they tell the story of a company that kept choosing short-term caution over long-term conviction again and again, until caution itself became the biggest risk of all. Sometimes the companies that fail aren't the ones that make one huge, obvious mistake. They're the ones that make the same small, cautious mistake repeatedly, until it's too late to recover from all of them at once. Yahoo isn't the last company we'll cover that had the future in its hands and let it go. Subscribe to see which one's next. This is a series about the moments that changed everything.